The United States of America has right now imposed a 245% tax on China, and ever since this happened, the Bitcoin price once again dropped ever so slightly. The stock market did exactly the same. Panic and fear is once again rising, and on today's update video, I'm going to be going over the most important news, the most important data points, and of course, I'm going to be discussing the Bitcoin in the short term, the stock market, and much more important charts you really want to be knowing about right now here. So don't forget to once again slap on that like button back above. 1,000 likes will be highly appreciated. And with that being said, let me jump straight away in towards today's update video. So the big news we got, of course, is this morning, the White House officially imposed a 245% tariff on imports from China. So that is, of course, once again, a very big measurement which we're currently seeing here. And of course, this is only escalating the event we're seeing between China and the US. And probably this is going to be having some very big catastrophic effects for the entire economy in the world. So we're also seeing that the US government is banning Nvidia to sell its best chips to China. So we're seeing extreme deglobalization happening exactly in front of our eyes. And due to this massive news we got hit on, we start to see the stock market straight away take a hit towards the downside. And later today, Jerome Powell is going to be speaking, and he will be addressing the inflation data and his market outlook. And most likely this speech, which he will be holding, is going to be having major volatility on what, of course, the rate policy is going to be in the United States of America. So this is going to be extremely important to be watching later today. Further on, due to the fact that we start to see, of course, even higher tariffs once again come to the market, even more uncertainty is hitting the markets and more people are in doubt about this market. We're still seeing across the entire cryptocurrency industry that the majority of most of the coins, and Bitcoin as well, are massively shorted with negative funding rates, and that we're seeing still extreme fear in the market. Across the stock market, it's even worse here. People are having no faith at all here and are just expecting the worst is going to come. And yeah, that is ultimately a very bad thing here for the entire market, right? Bitcoin also came down ever so slightly. I must say it wasn't necessarily a big drop here because actually people already priced in that this was likely a thing to be happening in the market, and it exactly happens. And right now for Bitcoin, we're just still in this consolidation phase, but really one of the leading indicators for Bitcoin on the bigger perspective is going to be the global liquidity. And right now, global liquidity across mainland China, United States of America, the European Union, they are all expanding at this moment of time here. And if we're looking back at all the previous corrections, major bear markets in Bitcoin, it has always corresponded with negative growth on the global money supply here. And now, like you can see over here on the right side, global money supply is heavily increasing again here. And this just shows you that most likely we're going to be having greater times ahead of ourselves here. And I mean, whenever we once again do see, of course, a period where global liquidity is shrinking, then of course we are going to be starting to see the market also take a hit here. But this is ultimately once again a very great thing to see in the market. And ultimately this gives us the signal that on the bigger perspective and the longer term, Bitcoin is most certainly going to be rising again here, but maybe it will take some time here. Right now, Bitcoin is still creating a falling wedge pattern. We're breaking outside of the falling wedge pattern. And really, like I said earlier, global liquidity is definitely going to be the measurement to be looking at if you're going to be trying to forecast where the market is heading towards. But for me as well here, what I'm going to be closely looking towards right now here is for Bitcoin, this downtrend, because ultimately we're still trading in a downtrend on the daily time frame till we're going to be breaking above $87,000. If we confirm the break above that previous high, we're going to be flipping this downtrend and we're probably going to be in for a major continuation towards the upside. And that is really where I'm looking out for right now. And whenever we do see the break above this level, I believe we're probably going to be flying back towards new all-time highs again for Bitcoin. But of course, I'm just going to be waiting for the confirmation before I'm going to be saying so. So yeah, Bitcoin ultimately still in a major longer term support line, still sitting in this consolidation phase. And all in all, it really also depends on what the White House is going to do here. Are they going to cut the deal? The market is probably going to be pumping extremely hard towards the upside. But so far, it looks to be that they're not going to cut any deals whatsoever. And that we're right now in the middle of a global great reset. And as this is happening, the dollar is starting to drop quite heavily towards the downside right now here. It is already dropping below 100 points, and really whenever it's going to be breaking below this level, probably we could be in for an even bigger continuation towards the downside. And ultimately for Bitcoin, since it is measured against the dollar, it is going to be great for Bitcoin whenever the dollar index does fall so rapidly. And yeah, really, if I'm looking at most of the charts, and really if I'm also looking towards Ethereum, I really do still believe it's a great zone of accumulation. Even though if we're going to be dropping further, I will remain to be accumulating in this region right now. Ultimately, I do think we're going to be in for a major reversal, especially since you're starting to see the global liquidity is just starting to go in towards a major uptrend again here. And as more money is getting printed worldwide, it is going to be causing more and more and higher asset prices. So ultimately, some assets that are right now quite heavily oversold, like Ethereum, are probably going to be quite strong here. So this is exactly what is happening in the market right now here. Outside of this, there's not a lot of stuff happening really for Bitcoin. So yeah, this video was definitely an extremely short one right now here, but I truly hope you learned something from this video. If you did so, don't forget to slap on the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out. Goodbye.